Alright, hey guys, it's Carrie from Mountain Gal Creations. I'm on our Unique in the Creek tutorial for today. And I'm going to be showing you how to, well, one way to make the snowman, it's the double snowman kit 182. It's going to be two different, I won't even, swags. So it'll be one rectangle board, one sign, you know, whole mesh, the whole 9 yards. So I want to show you what you get in the kit, which you get two of the rectangle boards. There it is. Ta-da! Alright. And you get this awesome mesh, which I done cut mine up. I got a little happy again. I already cut them up. But I'll show you how to cut it. You also get the Chanel stems, which I've opened, but or pipe cleaners, whatever you want to call them. There's 25 in there. You get this awesome 1.5 inch plaid ribbon. You get this, I guess they call it that jute cord ribbon, jute mesh ribbon. Now it's not wired, so you can use it in bows as long as it's like nothing too crazy, but it's great for ribbon tails and all that. So there's that, and it's just so pretty. Look how sparkly that stuff is. So there's that. You also get this really pretty cardinal ribbon. There's snowflakes on it. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if we can. Yeah, there we go. There's snowflakes and they're sparkly. It's really pretty ribbon. It's 1.5 inch too. And then you get a 5/8 plaid ribbon that matches the 1.5. Then you also get this cute little snowman sign, and it's 7x6, and this cute little snowman sign, which is also 7x6. All right. Now I'm going to show you how to make just one, because the second one will be made exactly like the first one. But also in the kit, you get this cool little baggie, which gives you this card that if you use your phone, scan that, it will take you to all the Unique in the Creek tutorials on YouTube, or there's a link at the bottom. You can just type it into your browser bar and it'll take you to Unique in the Creek, and there is tons of tutorials from me, Lori, Jackie, Marianne, Liz, Judy, all of us, Kathy, Michelle. So tons of them on there, and they're all free, guys, all free. And she also gives you cable mounts. Now with these little signs, you can use 1 or 2 of these, but she gave you 4, so it's totally up to you, like if you want to use all 4 or just 2. And you also get this little handy dandy tape measure, a measure tape, I should say, not tape measure. All right, and it goes up to 2 feet. That way you can like stick it down on your countertop, your table. Like I have just a folding table that I use here. I'll show you. I mean, it's easy to peel off. It'll even come back up. It's great, and I'll show you. I stuck it on my cutting mat. That way, if you don't have a cutting mat, or of course, you know, you can lay this down, use it to measure. That way you can lay your ribbons along it to also measure like your ribbons and stuff. And I also want to tell you, the mesh you will cut 24 pieces at 14 inches long. That should hopefully give you enough pieces to where you don't have to worry about like there's not enough mesh on the roll. So should get 24 pieces cut at 14 inches. And then for like what I've done, all right, here's my ribbon tail bundle. Okay. This is how I'm going to do mine. Now you can change up the ribbon tails if you want. It's up to you. However, you know, you want your ribbon tails, whatever you want to use for your bow, ribbon, you know, for your bow, that's fine. Whatever you want to use. But you will need 16 of these. And these pieces are cut at 14 inches as well. So there's those. I'm going to lay those out of the way. Okay, so first off, I went ahead and marked my board. Okay, so you can, over here is A, and it goes to J. But if you want to kind of screenshot this or whatever, here it is. I just went ahead and laid out my pattern. And I have a M times 2 right here. And you'll see for the mesh in the middle why I put times 2 there. You'll see what that's going to stand for here in a little bit. Okay. And of course, each mesh, with the exception of the middle row, we're also going to put in ribbon tails. Okay. So there's that. And again, I'll put it up here. You need to screenshot it. Yeah, I'm a little crooked. So there's that. All right, and then I'm going to bring you down to the board, and I'm going to go ahead and we'll load the board, and then I'll show you. Now I'm going to be cutting mesh. So like I said, I got a little cut happy, went ahead and cut it, and then I'll just show you how to cut it using the scrap roll that I have. All right, so now with the pipe cleaners that she gave us, all right, I'm going to go ahead and preload the outside of the board, okay, because that's what we're going to do first. At least that's how I do it, okay? So we're going to take our pipe cleaners, where I have this 1M. All right, we're going to do just like we do the zip ties. And we're going to put our pipe cleaner through, all right? Then we're going to move to the next one. If I can get coordinated. Add pipe cleaner. Go to the next one. Yes, some of these holes are a little closer together, but that's not gonna matter. And this here, you won't know the difference. So don't be alarmed because some of the holes are a little closer together, some are a little further apart. Like I said, it ain't gonna matter in the scheme of things. Let me grab these other pipe cleaners. Alright, now I'm just gonna set this one to the side. Now you can do both boards at once if you want, or you can do them separate. So, but again, you can do them both the same, or you can change, like you can do one, you know, the ribbon tails one way, the other one, you can do the ribbon tails another way. It's all up to you. So, but I kind of figured too, since there's two, you can make them the same. It could be like for double doors. Or you can even sell them individually. Totally up to you. Okay, so pretend this is our mesh that's in the kit. Because like I said, I got cut happy. So what we're going to do, and like I told you, I laid down the tape that's in the kit, which is right here. And we are going to cut this, our mesh, and we need 24 pieces, And I'm not going to sit here and cut all 24 with you because, like, how boring is that? But I do want to show you. Now, I have a rotary cutter, or you can even use scissors for this. It's up to you. Whichever, you have or whatever. So, for the sake of this, I'm going to show you using scissors. So, we're just going to come to our 14-inch line. And we are just gonna now a lot of people, I will show you this as well. And it might be a little easier to show you actually with a piece of this. I'm not sure. Let me see. Hold it up here. Which one do you see? I'm not really sure. But there is like a grid on the mesh, okay? You can see that grid with my hand behind it. A lot of people will try and cut in between them boxes, like make a straight line down through there. It truly doesn't matter, guys. You can just lay it on here. You can use your line on your cutting mat or just, cut it to 14, whichever you want to do. I mean, it's truly up to you how you want to cut it. Me, like, I don't really care because most of the time you're not going to see that edge anyway. So again, I'm just going to roll this out 14 inches. This time I'm going to use my rotary cutter. And, well, maybe. Alright, I'm going to have to get a new rotary cutter because this, it wants to keep retracting. And of course I definitely need a new blade. I don't want to cut this one. Of course, this has a little bit of fabric in it, which the one you get has a little bit of the fabric too. So if you had issues like I just did with the rotary cutter, use your scissors. Easy peasy. It'll cut right through it, okay? So, there's how to cut the mesh. Alright. So we got, 24 pieces of that. Okay? So now, we're just going to come in here, and like I said, we're going to cut our ribbon. Alright? For our ribbon tails. So you are going to need 16 of these because there's 8 pieces, alright, on the outside edge. Okay? 2 on each end, and then 3 down one side, 3 down the other, okay? So that's 8. So you'll need 16 of each of this, the 5/8, and then the 1.5 of this. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a couple pieces with, I'm just going to do 8 for now, cut them with you all, and that way you're not here forever, but it'll be the same for the other one. So you all can just cut your 16 at once, or you can do the 8. So I've already cut like 4 of these, of this, so we just need 4 more. All right, and again, these are cut at 14 inches. All right, so there's 5. Now this is like super stretchy. See like how that's stretching? So try not to like pull tight on this when you go to cutting it, because then it won't, give you the right measurement. Like if you pull it tight and then see how it like, bounces back. So don't pull super tight on this. Alright, so there's our 8 of that. Alright, and we need 8 of this one, or 16, like I said, depending on if you want to cut them all at once, or if you want to do one swag at a time, or cut ahead of time, which I've kind of already cut like some ahead of time, so that's why I'm just going to do the 8. And this ribbon, oh my gosh, it's like a thicker like canvas ribbon. It's really nice, like plaid. It's really nice ribbon. nice thick kind of ribbon. And the little 5/8 one is the same. And of course, again, you can cut them all ahead of time. You're cutting 16 pieces or just do 8, which I'm just going to do the 8 because like I said, I have already cut some, but I didn't want to sit here and do all 16 in front of you. So we'll just do the 8. All right, so there's the 8 we need for that. And now we are going to cut dovetails in them. Or if you prefer cutting them at a slant, that's fine too. And yes, even with this 5/8, you can cut a dovetail. So I'm going to cut a dovetail. And all you're doing is taking the ribbon, bringing it over, kind of folding it in half, and then just cutting it at a slant. Come from the middle of the ribbon up to the outer edge. All right, that's all you're doing. So if you cut it and it's all wonky, let me show you. See how I got wonky on that one? All you gotta do is just refold it. Come down here and just recut it. It'll be all right. Okay, now on these ones, you can keep them straight. You can cut them at a diagonal, or you can even fold it and do a dovetail. Now, it's not going to be like a perfect dovetail because, you know, this stuff, it's going to fray. So whatever you want to do, if you want to cut it at a slant, that's fine. Or dovetail it, that's fine too. It's not, I'll show you, I'm going to cut into a dovetail. Like, it does okay, but I'm not sure how it's going to fray, which I think even cutting it the other way, it may fray as well, but I don't know. With this, it's just kind of I've never used, like I've used this kind, but this is pretty thin like, whereas the other stuff like this that I've used is a little thicker. So so I'm not sure like how bad it'll fray or anything like that, but now we'll just separate these out a bit. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do our ribbon tails. Since we're messing with the ribbon, we'll just go ahead and do. So I'm gonna start with this piece first. I'm gonna lay it down. Then I'm gonna grab a piece of the see-through green. And I'm just gonna kind of lay it down over top of that. Usually I tend to try to put this edge into where the like the bottom V of your dovetail. I try to just line that up there. Now, like I said, this piece here, it's not going to be exactly because where it kind of stretches and gives where you cut it. So it's not going to be perfect. Now this, I'm just going to lay it on here because it's not exactly going to go in the middle of that one. So we're just going to lay it on here. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to put my hand here. And we're going to bring these over, fold them in half so we find our middle. Just line up the edges of your ribbon. I'll bring this hand up here, and then I'll bring this one down. We're just going to smash it to put that crease. Now, you won't get a crease in this green, the shiny green, but you will the other two, okay? We're going to come over here, get our pieces, open that back up, and you'll get this crease here, okay? That's where you know to scrunch it. So we're just going to put our hands here, and we're just going to scrunch it up right where that crease was at. Okay, then once I scrunch it up, I'm just going to pinch it here I'm going to get this hand, and I'm just going to bring this around to create a V. Okay, now you can see that these aren't even, right? So all you got to do is adjust down here at what we call our nub for these, and just bring this side down and push it up that side. Okay, so now we've pretty much, now like I said, the green isn't gonna be exactly right, but as long as these look about right, we're good. Okay, so, and then I'm just gonna pinch it down here. All right, so there's our ribbon tails. So then I'm just gonna kind of lay that over to the side. All right, then we're gonna grab a piece of our mesh, which, like I said, it's 14 inches. So we're just gonna lay it down here. I'll use my scissors. Lay this up here, so weight it down a little bit. So it's gonna be curl side up. Curl side up means, you know, it curls up this way. And then all I'm gonna do, now you can use the ruffle for this. You can use the kerfluffle if you want, but I'm gonna do like a woodland ruffle, and then I'm gonna fold it in half. So we're just gonna take the end, curl it up, roll it once or twice. I'm just using a clothespin. That's what I got. I'm a country girl, so you can find whatever clip or whatever and clip that. So, all right, and then I'm gonna come over here, do the same thing. Curl the ends under, roll it once or twice, and then I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna push it up in a V to get like this little hump here. Learned that from our friend Marianne. And because it causes this to kind of ruffle a little better. And then all we're gonna do is scrunch this to the other side. All right. So that creates a curl. And then like our ruffle, and they call it a woodland ruffle. Okay. But I'm gonna go a step further, and we're just gonna bring this in a V and pinch it to make a nub like we did on our thing. So I'm just gonna be like a folded woodland ruffle. Okay. Easy peasy, guys. So then grab our board, and I'm just going to start at one end. It could be A, J, doesn't matter. All right. So, but I'm going to start on the end. So this is end A, because on each set of holes, there's a letter. Okay. So I'm going to start here on A. Like I said, you can start at the bottom. It don't matter. Just, you know. So then I'm going to put it down in here, and then I'm just going to push that down a little bit. We're going to get our pipe cleaner and give it a couple of twists to hold that down on the board. Okay. Now, if you want, you can do a piece of mesh and then bring in your ribbon tail and do that all at once if you want. So then just bring your pipe, set it down in your pipe cleaner there on top, and then just give it a couple of twists. All right. Now I'm not going to do anything else with this, so you can go ahead and like you can cut these off. Just leave a little bit of ream and then bend that down. Or you can bend the whole thing down and then just kind of, you know, whatever you want to do. So I'm just going to kind of bring it down, tuck it under. That's all I do. All right. And then just kind of fluff your tails out a little bit. Easy peasy. Like I said, you can do it one time, or you can come through, do all the mesh, and then you can do the ribbon tails. It's up to you. So I'm going to do mesh, ribbon tails, mesh, ribbon tails. It's just a little easier. So I'm just going to lay this out of the way again. get our mesh. Again, it is 14 inches. And we're just going to curl it once or twice. Roll it once or twice, I should say. Same thing with this. Just take your fingers, curl it under, give it 1 or 2 rolls. And then, like I said, push it up, kind of make a V down here to where you get this hump. And then just scrunch it on up to where you have your clothespin. All right. And just, you got your little thing. And again, like if you want to lay it this way on the board, I forgot to say that too. Like you can lay this where it's kind of like a flat surface on the board and put the curls under. All right. See how the curls are under? Or you can lay it on there curls up. And I'm doing curls up. But totally up to you. Whatever your preference is. All right. So then we're just going to pinch that. Get us our little nub. Grab our board again. All right. Get my hands to work. All right. Bring this in here. Make sure you put that nub in there about 1 inch. I'm just going to hold that down, push it down, and then grab the pipe cleaners. Give it a good twist. Well, that didn't quite do how I wanted, so give me just a second, because I'm going to have to push that on up in there a little more. To make sure you got the whole nubby. Okay. Now I'm going to push down, hold down with my fingers, and then grab. It's still sliding out on me. Sorry, guys. Let me turn this around. This might help. A little awkward holding that way. So that helped turn it around. Okay. So there's that. So we can just move this over. Grab our ribbon. Make our ribbon tails. All right. Make sure they're kind of sort of the same. Except for that green, because like I said, it gives and moves. So if it's not exactly the 14 like the other two, that's fine and dandy. It won't matter. Just line up your edges. Come up here, open it up, find your crease. Come in here, pinch it together, pinch it here. Then I'm just going to take this hand, bring this around to make a V. And look to see if the ends are matching, which they pretty much are. So then I'm just going to give it a pinch down here at the bottom, make that little nub. Then I'm going to bring it over here. And we're going to lay it right down on top of that pipe cleaner. Bring it up and around and give it a couple of twists. And then, like I said, I'm just going to bring it down. Just kind of tuck it under. Or you can cut them off. But I don't have my other scissors that I usually cut those with laying here, so I'm not going to cut it with my ribbon scissors. Okay, so and just kind of give it a curl, or you can take your fingers, see how it likes to do that nice curl. We call it scissor fingers. It gives it a nice curl effect. Fluffs them up really good. Makes them look nice. And then you can move them. If you want these close together, you can make them close together or pull them apart. You know, whatever you like, whatever looks good to you. Now, it doesn't hurt for the ribbons to overlap, but again, if you just want to close the V up, so to say, in your ribbon tails, that's fine too. Like I said, it's all in personal preference. How you want to do it, all up to you. Last piece for the mesh. Oh, well, one had some made up, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring this in. Okay, so now we're going to go in here and we're going to have mesh marked in here. We're going to put our pipe cleaners in there, okay? I don't know how this is going to work with the two because I've not used pipe cleaners. Sorry, guys. I normally use zip ties, but some people are more comfortable with pipe cleaners. So I'm not sure how our one with the two mesh ends in here is going to be till we get there. I'll have to figure it out when I get there. So, what I'm going to do, we got to start having all this in here, okay? So that's what these inner pieces are going to do. Let me get these pieces. Why? Why? There we go. Separate them because they like to stick to each other here. Alright, so I already have one. We've done it the same as the outside. All we're going to do is bring it in here. And we're going to lay it right down in here. And I'm going to smush it down in there. Take our zip tie. Pipe cleaner. Alright. Then you can position that around. That's going to hide our nub. Alright, so let me turn it on so you can see. Alright, so that's hiding. Alright. Make sure. Alright, and again, you're not going to need that one. So I'm just going to tuck it down in there. Alright. Next one, we're going to do the same thing. And we are going to put it in the same direction. I'm going to do that to hide that. But our bow is going to be laying here. Okay? Now, here's where it's going to get just a little tricky. Alright? Because we're going to need a piece of mesh going. See if I can get this wound at the ends are wanting to like spread far apart. I don't want it to spread that far apart for some reason. Okay, so we need a piece laying this way to hide this up here. Alright, but we're also going to need a piece going this way to hide that. Okay, and then once we get our sign's going to go there, so it's going to hide that. Alright, so what we're going to do, come in here, open up our pipe cleaner. I'm going to try and put both down in here at one time. Nope, that ain't going to work. Well, I have to. Alright, let's see if we can figure this out. Like I said, I've not done these pipe cleaners. Always use zip ties. So this is the first for me. I think I'm going to be able to manage both of them down in there. Alright. And then my curl needs to go over. That needs to come around. Come around. Make sure we got all of our bases covered. All of our outside edges covered. Okay? Okay. So there is that. Alright. So we've got our sign. Now you can keep this on here if you want, but I'm going to cut it off. Alright. Alright. So here's where the cable mounts. And then the play. So I can do backing off. Alright, here we go. I'm getting started. Pull that off there, and I'm just going to do one. I'm just going to kind of put it in the center there. And pipe cleaner. Go through. Give it one or two twists. Alright. And we're going to bring this over here. Alright, now we're going to put it over here. We're going to use the same holes that we did with the pipe cleaners for them two mesh pieces that we just stuck in there. Okay? So, this is what I say is the hardest part. Making a wreath. It's finding the holes. Put the pipe cleaner down through. So there's one side. Hopefully it stays. And put it down through. Alright, and you don't want to pull this super duper tight, y'all. Okay? Got another little fray on the end. Just cut that up. Okay, you don't want to suck this down into the mesh. Now, put this on there straight. You can do crooked, whatever you want to do. I'm trying to get mine straight as I can. Alright, what you're going to do, alright, we got our pipe cleaners on the back. You're just going to pull that enough till you feel the resistance of that sound against the mesh on the top, okay? So, just pull that till you feel that resistance. And then we're just going to give that a twist. And then with this, all we're going to do, we're going to shove those ends back up through there. Okay, that way there's nothing poking out. There's nothing that's going to scratch anything. So we just shove those back up in there and see how nice and smooth the back is. Nothing's going to scratch anything. Alright, so now there's our sign on. Okay. Ta-da! Ta-da! Make sure when we was putting it on, we didn't uncover any of our mesh that's hiding our outside edges. Okay. I'll mess with ribbons all day, y'all. Getting them to look right and lay right. And, Okay. So now I'm going to do a bow. Or attempt to do a bow. we're just going to kind of keep it simple. Be one of the first bows that I learned to make. And I'm just going to use a little kitty bow maker. You all can use your tape measure also to measure with this and use your hands. But I'm going to use the kid bow maker, and let's get our cardinal ribbon, and I think I'm going to try and add some of this in there. Alright, so let's see here. Think about how big to make the loops. So let me lay this here. I'm just going to kind of lay this here. And I think we're just going to do 4-inch. Let's see. 4 and 3 and 2. Alright, I think I'm going to try and do 4, go down to 3, and then go down to 2. And we'll see what that looks like. Hope and pray that that works. If not, I'll just redo it. Okay. So the edge of this is 4 inches, okay, from the center. The edge is 4. So we go 3, 2, 1. So the edge of this is 4. Alright, and for me, I'm sorry guys, I'm anal. Now this is a directional ribbon. I'm going to cut some off of this. So. With this being directional, this one tail, alright, I don't know how long we want our tail, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this in here, twist it. You're not going to see this. The loops is going to hide that. And then I'm just going to bring this down till, I don't know, however I feel I think it's going to be enough. Maybe too much. I don't know. We'll just cut it right here. Alright. Since this is, like I said, directional ribbon, this is what we're going to do. That way this tail has the birds going down, and then when we get done, it should have the birds going the right way. So then we're going to come up here. Now I'm going to try and do 3 loops at 4 inches. Alright. This is what we call the 3, 2, 1 method. You start out, of course, figure out like how big you want your bow. So I'm going to start at 4 inches on each side. So I'm going to do 3 loops at the 4 inches. Then I'm going to do 2 loops of hopefully this green at the 2 or the 3 inches. And then at the 2 inches, I'm going to do 1. So 3 loops at the 4, 2 loops at the 3, and then 1 loop at the 2. Okay? Kind of call that like the 3, 2, 1. Actually learned that from Miss Michelle. She's the one that kind of taught me that bow. I was using other bows, but this is kind of an easy one to get for beginners especially. So then all I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this in here, and I'm going to bring this down, alright, and I'm just going to twist it in here because we want, this is going to be the back side of our loop. So we want the inside of the ribbon or the back side of the ribbon facing up. Alright, then I'll just kind of tend to swing this over to the side. Alright, now a little tip. Alright, see how this is kind of curling? Oh, you might. Alright, it's kind of curling up. You want to try and make that as flat as you can. That's going to make the loop in your bow, like, make it look good. Alright, so then I'm going to bring this in, twist that down a little bit, but we want enough to make sure. Alright, we have that at the 4 inches. Alright, you can make this bigger if you want. You can make it to where it totally goes like out over the sides of your, let me bring it over here. You can make it to where it goes way out over the side, whereas I'm here in the middle, but I still want to see some of the rest of this, okay? But if you want to make your loops bigger, that's fine. You can still do it bigger, and I think I am gonna go actually 5. Alright, so don't crucify me. The end of the board is 4. So I'm gonna make it 5. So we're gonna do 3 loops at 5 inches. Alright. Now that I put it back on there and see. Alright. So then we're just gonna push that down, and then I'm gonna make sure the edges of the ribbon are all nice and pulled out. Alright. So I'm going to hold this down. I'm going to bring this over. And I'm going to give this a twist because, again, we want the underside of the ribbon, backside facing up. I'm just going to bring this back over to this side. And again, line up your bow maker or whatever. The end of the bow maker is 4, but we want that 5 inches. So put that there. Oh, done pretty good. Right. Take a little bit from that. 5 and 5. Alright. So push down, and again, make sure your edges are good. Again, hold down here. Give this side a good twist. And you can just lay this loop right on top of that one, and you will know that it's the same size. Alright. So we're just gonna lay that down on there, slide our ribbon down. Alright, you can pull that out, lay it down. It's a hair longer. Just squish it together there. So it's the same size, and again, I'm gonna hold here, twist over here. Alright, pull it out. I'm gonna give some more ribbon. Bring that to the other side. Now, if you have a ribbon holder, you won't have to do that, but I don't have one. I don't really see the need for one in all honesty. But, alright, so I need one more loop on each side to do the 3. Now again, I've already cut some off of this, so don't think you're not going to have enough, because I've already done the other swag. Because like I said, I'm not going to do both on here because they will be made the same exact way. Alright, so there's that. So hold here, twist, bring that down, just a hair off, push down. Oh, you know what? I'm a gooba, because our tail's going to end on this side. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to lift this up, pull out my tail, and I'm just going to switch sides. That's all you got to do, guys. I should have started the loop the other way thinking, because that's how naturally it would be, but okay. So don't do what I did. Start with your tail going this way, and then start with your loop that way, like it normally would be for a regular ribbon. Don't be a goober like me. Alright. But see how, like, because otherwise this would be, your birds would be upside down. And you may not be OCD over it, but I am. I'm sorry. Okay. So there's that. Now, I'm going to come in here. Now this isn't wired, like I said, and it's stretchy. So we're just going to come in here. And I'm going to make this tail a little shorter. And this is going to be a little hard to work with, but not really. Like, where it's not wired, you're just going to have to hold it, but that's normal because, like I showed you how to do the loops, you're going to hold here anyway. But the good thing with this stuff, we don't have to worry about flipping the underside up because it's the same on both sides. So all you're going to do, unwrap some of that. All right, and we're going to bring this over. All right, push it down. All right, and we're going to bring that to the 4. All right, so we're just going to flop that over, bring that down. And again, don't pull on it, don't tug on it, just kind of barely put it there because this stuff is stretchy. So I'm going to let go of that. I'm going to put this down in there. All right. This does pretty good for loops and bows. So, like I said, I've worked with it before. As long as it's, you know, not overly complicated bow, you're good. All right. So that's a little more. So I'm just going to pull on it a little bit. All right. I believe that's close enough to our 4 as we're going to get. So then I'm going to put that down. I'm going to slide this down in here. I'm just going to move my hands. All right, I believe that's going to be a 4 by pushing down in the middle. All right, so we're going to do 2 loops of this. All right, hopefully. I hope this looks good too. All right, so I'm just going to bring that over. Lay that on top. I'm going to kind of push down, and it's overlapping a little bit. So we're just going to pull on that end. That's going to be pretty close. So now I'm just going to take my fingers, move the other ones out, bring these ones in. Do the same with this side. Just twist. Hold. And I think that looks pretty good as well. And we're just going to bring this down. We're not going to make it as long as the cardinal. Alright, and we're just going to cut that off. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to hold that there. And bring our cardinal back. Alright, and again, we're going to do like we did the first, to do our tail, or how we should have done our first, I should say. Alright, I'm not going to make this as long as the green. Ooh, kind of hard cutting left-handed. Alright. So you see what I mean? Like this one's long, this one's a little shorter than that, and then make that one a little shorter. Alright, so now, hold of that. I'm going to bring our cardinal ribbon in here. Slide a little bit over on this side. And again, on this, we're going to have it turned up. Alright, the bottom side. Bring it over. I'm sorry, but I want to bring this down for you so I can see. And we want this on the 2-inch mark. And we're only going to do 1 loop. Or 3-inch mark, correct. So again, the original. So there is our 3-inch. you believe? Yes. So then I'm just going to hold down there, come over here, give this a twist. Bring this back over. And we're going to do this at the 2-inch, hopefully. Or 3-inch. Good grief, here I go again, y'all. I'm telling you. Alright, so there is the 3, and then I'm just going to push down there. Bring our tail over. And then we're just going to cut it a little shorter than the green. Alright. I try to do about 1 inch. Sometimes 1.5 inches. It just depends. Alright. So we'll move that out of the way. For some reason, I guess just how I hold my hands and how it's pushed down. Okay. So there's this. Okay. Now. What, Gina? I'm so used to reaching for a zip tie. But we're going to get this. And carefully as you can, bring your bow up. Put these 2 fingers like this on the underside of your bow. Hopefully. Just get it all up under there. Make sure you get it all up under. Alright, and then raise it up and put your thumb on the top of this. Alright, and then I'm going to bring pipe cleaner, put it right there in the middle of that, and squeeze for dear life holding this, okay? Now before I take this off, I'm going to squeeze that down between my fingers and towards the back of the bow. This one over here between the ends of my fingers and towards the back of the bow. And then like I said, squeeze with dear life. Bring it on up there. Bring it back here. Bring it around your ribbons. Put it together and then just start twisting. You want this as tight as you can get it. Alright, so do that several times. I don't know if that's going to be long enough to go down through the mesh and twist or not. I might have to add extension, another pipe cleaner on here, y'all. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. So what we're going to do, I'm going to grab this, my pliers here, it's got little cutters there. I'm going to cut this in half. Great. Oh, okay, finally just broke off. Alright, all I'm going to do is twist these ends together, y'all. That's all I'm going to do. Well, this might make it a little harder to go down through the mesh, but it shouldn't. But it's not going to go all the way through and you'll be able to tie it. I should have put 2 pipe cleaners together at the beginning is what I should have done. Alright. So all I'm doing is twisting that around each other. Okay. So that made that a little longer. Alright, so then let's lay this flat against the table. Get a hold of this. I'll bring our tails around. Make them to where they're going this way. Alright, but yet I'm still holding it up here too. Alright. Okay, so we got our loops. We want to separate them. Alright. So separate them, fluff them out. All you're doing is putting your hands in the loop and just pull on opposite ways. Okay? But we also want to fan them out a little more. All right, so you kind of want to this way and one in the middle. All right, so then your green, we'll see how cooperative this is going to be. All right, we're going to pull on them. And you kind of want them to go in between these ones. Now, the way this is, because it's not wired, it might not do exactly that. It's going to be close. Just keep messing with it. Keep pulling it up there. All right, I think we're pretty good. One more time, pulling it a little bit. There we go, that worked. Okay. So you see where I'm going, right? See what I'm doing? Bring this over a little more, actually. By doing that, Mr. Green up. I'm sorry. Okay, and then you want your top one to go in between that. So can you see a little bit? All right. And then there's your bow. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna do this before we put it on there. Now you can cut these at a slant if that's what you prefer, or you can dovetail them, whatever you want. Your preference. Lay that up there out of the way. And let's bring this down. All right. Now you can decide where you want your bow, whether you want it like down here, give some space. Bring the, like I said, if you want it like up against the snowman somewhat, or, okay, you see that? Or you can bring it down below. So I'm going to stand up and see which I prefer. So I'm going to turn this around here to where I'm looking at it. And let's see, how do I want it like that? Do I want it up against? I think I'm actually going to bring it down a little bit. Well, I don't know. Kind of like both ways. So it's up to you. If you want your bow kind of up against the bottom of the sign, that's fine. Or bring it down a little bit and see some of the mesh, you know, in between. I guess that's fine too. I don't know which way I like it. Looking down here, you see the mesh. Okay, I think I'm just going to move it down. I may change my line later, but I think I'm going to move it down below the sign a little bit. Have a little bit of a gap. But again, it's up to you, however you want to do it. Okay, so I think I'm going to bring it down because it's going to be a little easier to attach the bow. Okay, because you have your first piece of mesh here. That's where the second one's in. So you can bring your pipe cleaners in and put it right over top of the pipe cleaner for this piece of mesh. That way you're not having to shove through meshes. Whereas if you would come up here against the side. So I'm going to make it a little easy on myself. And I'm going to go at the end of this piece of mesh that's coming out from the Snowman sign. Okay. So here we go. Again, you might not have had to put that other piece on there, but I don't think it would have went through, and out the other side and had enough room myself. Okay, wow, that was super easy. Okay, so then bring all this up and over. Okay, and again, I'm going to stand up, make sure that I have it in here center-wise. And again, y'all, you can change these ribbons out if you'd rather have the cardinals out here and then do a plaid ribbon. You could do the same. You could take this, make it on the back, put the green here, and then use the little tiny ribbon here. All up to you. You don't have to make it exactly like I do. You can switch out the ribbons, whatever you want to do. But this is just how my brain, this piece of mesh ribbon. Alright, so I'm just going back and kind of just straggler from the mesh. Just trying to straighten up the ribbons. Use our fingers, the scissor curl. Okay, and again, to make sure we got this. Alright, so I think it's in the center. And again, same with the sign. In the back, just pull till you meet that resistance of the mesh. And I am glad I did add that because you wouldn't have had very much back here to twist. Alright, so twist those and then do just like the sign and stick them back up through. Cut them off if they're too long. Leave a little bit and stick it back up through the board like we did with the sign. Alright, I'm not going to show you here because again, I don't have cutters that's good enough for the thing. Okay, and then for these, if you want to curl them, you can curl them. If not, then like what I mean is this for the tails. But all I'm going to do, I'm just going to scissor curl to give that life to them. Alright, of course the green you can't. So go up under the green, get a hold of that bottom piece, bring it up and out, guys, up and out. Alright. And then of course you can just pinching these together so you don't see the pipe cleaner. Alright. And there we go. And like I said, if y'all don't like how I done it, then you can change the ribbon tails however you want them. And there you go. And then you can use a pipe cleaner as the hanger, or if you have twine or zip tie or whatever you prefer. Alright. So, ta-da! You can see it here. Like I said, again, you can swap out. You can put the cardinal here if you want, and then do the bow and this. Totally up to you guys. Alright, so I'm going to bring you up to where you can see this. I'm going to step back and try to get the glare off of it, and there you go. And the second one with this sign will be made exactly like this one, or however you done your first one. So I'm not going to sit here and make the second one with you because that would make for a very long tutorial. We're not going to do that. So there you go. There is the double snowman kit 182. Hope you love them. I think they're so cute. And again, there it is. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. And thanks for joining me, and I will catch you guys in 2 weeks.